Okay, finally we had a meaningful day in the market. Maybe next week will be a much easier to trade week. We're going to look at the markets in general and then take a look at our watch list, and then we'll run down some charts. Okay, looking at the markets, the last 2 days, the Dow's kind of gapped up yesterday, chopped around and sold off, and we talked about the market really keying off the SP 500. Which I still believe is true. I believe it's true so much I took a nap today. I set an alert for the SP 500 to hit the 50-day, not the SPY. And when the alarm went off, I got up and made some money. This was the SPY 50-day, which it got through it earlier in the day and kept going back and forth there for a long time, just chopping around all around the 50-day on the SPY itself. On the SP 500, it got near the 50-day earlier, and while all the chop was going on in the SPY, the SP 500 was actually below it. So I finally decided to go take me a nap about 2:15, set the alarm for 27:30:43, told the guys in the room I'll be back when that alarm goes off. And the alarm went off, and I got up and came in here. It pegged it, came back, next bar, flat bottom, no drawdown, immediately just took off and got in several good trades at that time. Now, we've ran up. First hesitation was this little high here at 27.43, chopped around for a few minutes. It actually closed at the highs, which is awesome. Closed at this previous high, which I think was a few days ago. We'll get back on the daily. This high right here, I think 27.47. I had put both those in the room. 27.43 I had put, and 27.47. So we ended up closing at 27.47 right at the highs, which is really good for us. And that's what that green line on that 15-minute chart represented. That's why I have these lines on my charts. I can look and easily see things that are important. On the 10-minute, had that little one here around whatever that was. It's a place that ran up and pulled back a few days ago intraday, and it did give a hesitation. Ended up we got in Nvidia right at that time. That was when right at 2:30. That's when the SPY crossed up there. Double check that time. Right here's where the alert went off at 2:40 on this 10-minute chart. And got in Nvidia, immediately got this run here, and then got out, and the chop started. And got in Amgen at the same time, 2:40, right in here, and got this nice run. Didn't stay into the end, and I'm more like right in here. And mentioned VRTX. Now, I didn't take it, but I threw it out in the room there that it was on Rampage all day. We'd already talked about it earlier. And this was right here at 240, was way up here, broke out to these old highs. So I'm not sure if some guys might have got that or not. I did not. But it all reverts back to what I've been saying for days. Until the SPY gets through here, it don't matter. And I repeated that again in the trade room this morning. That's going to be the key today. All this gapping up this morning, the pre-market was not through the 50, even on the SPY. Until that happened, and the Dow wasn't through there either. So finally that all happened. We had a great close. So maybe next week we can finally be out of this chop zone we've been in here for days, right between this support level and this retracement level, and trying to get through to run on now. So this is a good thing that we did all this, that it didn't just keep going up too fast. Could easily pull back and hit you 50-day on Monday and explode right off of that. So if you get a quick sell-off, be aware where that is. And that's the key. If we gap down below it for some crazy reason, that's resistance again. But hopefully Monday will be a good day for trading, make it a lot easier to find some trades. We've got our bear breaks for the week there, which looks about like yesterday's. You can see the ones that actually didn't go down today that may have stopped. We'll look at the charts in a moment. Your weekly bulls picked up some. You can compare the P&L, which is this column, to the price, and then look over here at your net change. And like for instance of this, you got a nickel profit from my trigger, and you got 65 for the day. Well, this triggered today. This one you got $1.02 today and $1.48 from a trigger. This one triggered previously, and so forth. So you can take a look at that, and just letting you get a look at the watch list so you can go to your own charts. We do have the earnings out in here in the columns, and there's your daily bull break. So you can pause the video, look at any of those. These are the levels they triggered on our live bull zone alerts if they're in our top 400 list, and the actual profit from that point. Of course, overall, like Adobe had a $7 day, $2.91 when it broke into the bull zone, and most of that happened late in the afternoon, as you all know. We'll look at those charts and see what they look like. Gonna run through the 3-minute tutorial, and I will get back to the charts. Thanks for watching. This is a mini tutorial on what the lines mean on my charts if you're a first-time viewer or been a while since you viewed. We're scanning on weekly and daily charts for my condition. When this green line is up, it's my bull zone, and when the red line is up, it's my bear zone. You need to be aware of support and resistance lines and what charts do at levels, and that's what these levels are for. Just quickly as I can do this, and we're going to put a video on YouTube getting more from your swing trading charts that'll be more detailed and look at more stocks, how they react to these lines. But the gist of what you see here is this is what I'm scanning for, and as you can see here, this showed up in the bear zone. It did go down for a few days, but these green lines are support, and that's why it fought for a few days, tried to bounce back up, headed back down again, came right back into the bull zone, bear zone, and continued on down. Now the lines, here's what they represent. A green line is a place that a stock went up to and rejected. So as this green line redrew itself every time we made highs right here, and then it stayed across here for reference points, continues the same line here for reference points. Resistance, when you get above it, becomes support. This green line was drawn way back in the history, and when this stock broke above this resistance level, when it came back down, it held it, it held it, it held it, it tested it and held it again and again. That was support. That's why I want you to be aware of what these lines mean, and you'll see them on my charts. And then the activity that stocks do, sometimes they go, that's my first target, that's my second target. Many times stocks go target 1, pull back a little, target 2, then they may pull all the way back to 1 and go again if they're continuing an uptrend. In this case, it did the pull back. This blue line is a 50-period moving average. This orange line is a 200. So that's what I want you to be aware of as well. And then I have a pivot system that consists of this blue line at the top, yellow line at the bottom, and my target 1 and target 2. You'll see this particular day this stock gapped down, huge gap down, open way down here. The low on this stock was 169.68. I'm getting that right out of this box over here, and the value of that yellow line was 169.67. Within 1 cent, it held that line and bounced that day for a huge bounce. It's not a support level, but it's where I look for stocks to try to hold. And it's where I'll look if I'm short, say from here, this is where I'm looking to get out. I'm looking to move 2 levels, target 1, target 2, going up, target 1, target 2. The pink lines all represent places the stock has gone down to and bounced. This pink line is referencing this last pivot low. So as you're selling down into it, it may bounce again. If you get below it, then it becomes resistance. And that's all these lines mean. I just want you to know what they mean going forward. Thanks for watching the video. Let's get started. Through time, I've got several comments and emails from viewers that don't subscribe to our services but do watch our videos and basically say, hey man, I'm getting some good trades off your videos. I wish there's a way I could contribute, and I don't want to sign up for a membership. So I finally went and made a donation button. You can find it 2 places on any video. We're including it at the bottom. You just click the show more button, and shortly down there you'll see support our channel, a donation through PayPal. You can click right here, pay through or make a donation through PayPal. Any amount you want to put in there is acceptable and appreciated. And then on our website, you can go to daytradersetups.com, press the YouTube menu item. It'll take you to this page, and there's a donate button there as well. And we appreciate that, appreciate the suggestion, and thank you ahead of time for any donations sent. We appreciate it a lot. We're going to be on our weekly charts first. Again, this stock had a green day today, but it's still down in the weekly bear zone on that AME stock. Again, another stock, this one had a red day in this second day in here on this particular one. Remember, we're doing a 5,000 stock scan on this list. Got some volume clarifications in there. Minimum price, so we go all the way down to $3 if it meets the volume specifications. I believe that's right. I'm gonna double check that. We go down to $3, between $3 and $400. 5,000 stocks that I've filtered out a lot of junk, and then daily volume minimum. A little program we have in here from ATR. We want our bear zone and our power involved, and that's these right down here. We're looking at this true statement at the top. Stability is a solid red line here. It means the highs aren't too high to get out of this comfort zone, and we're keeping our power level a little minimum at this little yellow, and we'll show you that on the recaps at the end. CGNX, just dozing around here off the 50 week, and that don't mean this can't hold here. This stock did this 2-for-1 split back up here, so this could be setting up to just hold here. And this little trend line don't mean anything. I drew it the other day based on some other things I was looking at. It was like an intraday intraday just showed up there, excuse me. So I'm not sure this is going down anywhere. It obviously needs to hold where it is. On the daily, this is just kind of maybe basing here sideways, waiting to get some momentum. We'll have to see on that one. You use your daily and your weekly combo. This is your support line, resistance lines. These pink lines back here, you are below your 200. That's not good. Campbell's little inside doji day on your daily there. Had 2 inside days in a row, and it had a green day today. This stock I think had, no, that's not one thing. I thought it had earnings. Pretty bad day. I saw this one pretty early this morning. Did hold a 50 day, and it held my support line. This is a great example of why I have lines on my charts. This line is bringing itself all the way across here. It's a previous place that the stock ran up and rejected for quite a while before it broke out. This stock, the low of day, 38.88. My line, 38.96. It's 8 cents off that line for a great bounce. In intraday, it gave a really great bounce off that level this morning. held that support line. That's what that was. It was an old resistance line where it ran up and rejected. That's why it's green. When they come down and they bounce off the lines, they're pink. Old resistance, new support, and it came in play this morning. Still in the bear zone. A couple of inside weeks. Still had a whole inside week there. I'm sure this was a gap down. Yeah, yesterday this was that stock that gap down so big, just kind of holding down here. Nothing in particular holding it, however. There's no kind of support or anything I see down in here. It has bounced off of this area several long time ago on a weekly. We can go back. Multi-day charts. Here you go. That's a 3-day. Somewhere back in there, this level was $40.53. Still below that. That's your resistance right here, right now. Rider continues down. It's below this support. This is your resistance right here for now, since you're below that level on the daily. That's your resistance you got to get back through, and it may just keep selling. It's in a pretty assertive breakdown here on this week. It's probably got some more downside. If you drew trend lines, you can see it's lost all that weeks ago. SLCA, I think this is green day today. 2 green days in a row actually after a gap down. It's kind of hanging down here. It does have this little support level it hasn't even touched yet. SRCL, it's gap down yesterday, struggle around down here today. I did a tiny little trade on it early this morning. I think I actually made about a flat on it. I didn't make any money. It went down after I got in it, but it came back up and I stopped out. That was actually pretty early this morning. I took that trade. If I made anything, it was not worth mentioning. And another one down here that had a red day in the bear zone. Get back on the weekly so you can see what we're looking at. And this is actually coming out of this base up here. This is not a bad looking setup for some downside, and you are breaking daily support right here when it went into the daily bear zone. Take a look at our weeklies real quick. I'm trying to do these quicker and quicker if I can. Sometimes we're going to have a lot of stocks to look at. It's going to take a little longer. You have to put the time in to make the money. You're right at resistance here on this daily chart. This is coming into the weekly bull, barely there, barely qualified on the weekly. Just kind of trying to get started. I don't have a feeling about this at all, but you see the daily, the resistance right here. It's got to get through there. AGIO, this was on here yesterday. Well, I can tell that I got a $1.48 profit from the trigger price. I had a $1.02 today, so it had to be there yesterday. So it's on your weekly again. We're looking at our weekly bull breaks. I don't have a feeling about this. It is back to highs. Did a nice pullback, held where it's supposed to. Support line here on that weekly 2 weeks ago. Had a good week. It's near highs. I don't know where these stocks go once they get up into new territory. There's no real feeling about that. Another one at all-time highs. It looks like. I don't think there's anything beyond here. Nope. Just starting to build the momentum here on the weekly bull. Nice pullback on this. Just starting the momentum again. This stock was already had a good momentum before the market pulled it down, so this could be something that could have a lot of potential here. You got a little ways to go back up on your daily. Did the right kind of pullback, target 1, target 2, held support and so forth, and headed back up like it's supposed to. We've had this not on the bull zone. Remember I told you on these dailies, On these big sell-offs, it'd take several weeks for this thing to all kind of sink back in, and some of them are starting to show back up now on the weeklies and the dailies. Another barely in the weekly bull zone. Now this has been there before. We first put this in way back down here at about that price levels when this went in a weekly bull zone back then. The bull zones and the bear zones are these little green lines on the chart, and they recalculate as things progress. So it's back in the current bull zone, but we like you to see on the chart where we've already alerted it. We're looking at this statement right here. True for bulls, true for bears. Then we have our momentum indicator, is this band of bars here. These are just true and false statements. And then I have something I call my trend stability, that I look at the low of the candle, which could be the week or the daily, it doesn't matter. Once it gets that low and holds it above where I want it to hold, I consider it an even stronger run. As long as it can maintain that, it's not even pulling back enough to put any fear in the trade at all. So I like to show that on the recap pages. That's all our weeklies. We'll look at the dailies and we'll get done. While you're here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter or StockTwits at Daytrader Setups. And our website is daytradersetups.com and swingtradersetups.com. Don't forget, this video is being brought to you by our premium alerts at swingtradersetups.com. They're real-time alerts. They're posted on our website, and we're looking at our bull zone weekly and daily breakouts, and our bear zone weekly and daily breakouts that are in one category on the website. And there are other categories that are more aggressive for the more active trader as well. And by having a subscription to that service, you get all these alerts intraday as they happen, and one subscription gets you access to everything, as well as our chart system. If you would like to get it, I can set you up a couple of different ways to have the green and pink lines available for your charts as you review. Let's go forward. Really short list on the bears and the bull. The bears anyway. Big hard sell-off. The stock's down $7 today. It triggered right here at $46.75. Another $4 down after our trigger on this. NVCR. It's breaking out of this base to the downside into the bear zone. Lost the 50-day. Tested it this morning and failed. And a gap down here on OLED. It is sitting on this support line. I don't know that it can hold it. But it held it for today. It might have closed slightly below it. That line is 130.65. Over to the bulls. Got Adobe. This is actually wasn't in the bull zone before, even back here. It had been, of course, on this run. So this is a new bull zone developing here out of this. This is our base, all this together. And that's pretty assertive right there. This has been building momentum all the way back from here. So our momentum indicator is kicking in back down here, and it finally worked its way into the bull zone today. And we have our other indicators on our premium alert service would have been picking this up down in here. ALB, this is breaking out of this base represented right here up through resistance and support. You got your 50-day to contend with here. First time up here after all this time down. This goes way back. This was nothing to do with the sell-off. This is all the way back into this gap down there where it had this big sell-off. We first put this in the bear zone down here, which you can figure that out for yourself. But We kept it in there and it maintained itself all the way down into support where it did hold, and now it's bounced back in the bull zone. Got some things to deal with here. First day in. CF back to the highs it was in before. This is not really consolidation, but it is measuring the momentum that it picked up down here 2-3 days ago, 4 days ago now. And it's increasing the momentum as it goes. Of course, this is not all-time highs on this stock. You got a lot of places it's been here on my monthly chart. You can see this is way down if you're not familiar with that stock. DXC back up into the bull zone. It was not in the bull zone here. It had been on the way up, and it leveled off here, basing. So this is a good healthy pullback for this stock. And it's now back in the bull zone, picking up some momentum, not coming out of consolidation. Estee Lauder, just a continuation here. It's come in several times on the bull zone back here before. EXR, just enough reversal, definitely not coming out of a base. It probably, if it has a decent week, gets back up to here, it'll probably come into the weekly bull zone as well. This is somewhat of a base in here that it's trying to get some momentum back out of. Did get holding the 50-day well here, trying to get going. Back to highs. These are probably all-time highs. Yep, they are all-time highs. Pull back, held them. Nice support area here. Shows how the lines work very well. You've held it this day. This slam down day, held it, came back up and held it and continued on up. And it gave the first bull zone was back here. So this is just out of this consolidation here. It calculated a new bull zone level and it reached back up there today. It had not maintained that. A lot of retail moved pretty good today. This is actually looking pretty good on a weekly chart as well. You could call this consolidation. This is the first momentum here. Micron, this is just you could call this a long consolidation area. It's not a real tight consolidation, but it is building the momentum. It's been building that for multiple days. Man, had a real strong day today. W just back to highs. This came into bull zone back down here, went sideways for a few days, and newly calculated bull zone recrossed it today. So that's one of the main reasons we try to show you this, so you realize that's not the first time lately. Now back here you can see this was the first time lately. So we got this bull zone alert way back in here in January and had this big run. That's what these bull zones are all about. Now this didn't have momentum building like I like to see it, because it wasn't coming out of consolidation. It was more continuation. We try to bring them into you where we feel like they've been in some kind of consolidation. Is the reason we use that little momentum factor. PANW back to old highs. Gapped up the other day. It's back at resistance here. Not a bad looking chart. Not sure exactly what it's going to do at this resistance area. It's not at all-time highs. This stock just kind of picking back up to those levels. Definitely not out of consolidation. SRE, now you got some consolidation in this stock for quite a while. It gave a little bull zone alert back here. Went up to our target 1, got caught up in a little market chop here for the last 4 or 5 days and pulled back. Now it's back through the 50-day, back through this resistance area. Does have this resistance area right above it at 110 even. Just got to get through there. Getting through the 50 today, rebuilding the momentum, back to the bull zone area. This will be a pretty good stock to be watching next week. we're going to get that recap list up here for you for the week of all the alerts and wind this down. Thank you so much for watching. So our bearish recap for the week. Remember, the main reason we come over here so you can pause the video and you can look at the watch list of all the stocks that came up on these alerts this week. That's today, yesterday, day before that, which was probably on a Friday because we had a Monday holiday. It gives you the stocks that are still maintaining that momentum that we use when we're talking about these stocks. Let you know that's still there. Our trend stability lets you know that the highs on the daily are not so high as to not be considered in trend stability, and we're still in the bear zone. As these go down, they continue to calculate a lower and lower bear zone. This stock's trigger alert was 30.90. This is your P&L based on that. Even though the stock was only down 22 cents today, it's a 96-cent profit since yesterday when it first alerted, and so forth and so on. The stock down $2.79 total, only 82 cents today, down $12 total. That was a gap, so all of that you obviously couldn't make it on a gap. Still maintaining the bear zone. So it lets you know as they recalculate, you get down to here. This is probably a recalculated bear zone. It's still below the bear zone on this stock, but it shows you the profit level based on the original alerted price. So this stock, $1.39 down today, profit level based on the original alerted price, $5.38. The profit level at the lowest point was $8.51 profit. That's since the inception of the alert. That's what this is about. That's all the bears. You can see them all there. Well, let's take a look at the bull recap. Today's we just went over. Yesterday's they all maintained themselves. These came out on the bull zone yesterday, even though the stock's down 63 cents, still up $2 since the alert, still in the bull zone. As these recalculate their bull zone prices, that's what the check mark's about. This trigger price never changes as it works its way through here for 5 days. Like Domino's is not still in its bull zone, but it is still with its momentum. It's just hesitated 2 days after that big gap up. So it's still holding momentum. It's still holding the present level of the bull zone, and it's still holding its trend stability that the low wasn't low enough to make me not like it. Where Estee Lauder, for example, after 5 days is still in the bull zone. It has maintained, it's actually in a new bull zone now, but it's still well above where we alerted it. The newly calculated bull zone is above that at the close of business today. So it might not have been yesterday, but it is again today. Still got the momentum about this stock is still indicated. That's what the yellow is. But the no trend stability tells you that the lows here wasn't as high as I'd like to see them to maintain that level. It hadn't got it back yet. See you on Monday.